Whether it's smarter to buy a house or rent depends on a few factors that are pretty personal and financial. Here's a breakdown to help clarify the pros and cons of each. Buying a house. Pros: equity building. When you make mortgage payments, you're building equity in the property rather than just paying rent to a landlord. Over time, if property values go up, you can make money when you sell. Stability. You're not at the mercy of rising rent prices, and you have the security of not being forced out if the landlord decides to sell. Customization. You can renovate and personalize your space however you like without needing permission. Tax benefits. In some countries, like the United States, mortgage interest and property taxes can be tax-deductible. Cons: upfront costs. There's a lot of money required upfront: down payments, closing costs, inspections, etc. Maintenance costs. As a homeowner, you're responsible for everything from leaky faucets to major repairs, which can be costly. Less flexibility. If you want to move, selling a house takes time, and there might be costs involved. It's harder to pick up and go if you're tied down by a mortgage. Market risk. The value of your house might go down in certain areas, which could lead to financial loss if you need to sell in a down market. Renting a house. Pros: flexibility. Renting gives you the ability to move easily without the hassle of selling property. Lower initial costs. Generally, you just need a deposit and the first month's rent to move in. No large down payments. No maintenance hassles. If something breaks, it's typically the landlord's responsibility to fix it. Predictable costs. Rent is usually fixed for a lease term, so you can budget without worrying about fluctuating costs, though rent can increase at the end of the lease. Cons: no equity. Rent payments go to your landlord, not toward ownership or investment in property. Less control. You might not be able to make changes or improvements to your rental unit. Rent increases. While your rent might be fixed for a year, after that, your landlord could increase it, potentially forcing you to move or pay more. Less stability. If the landlord decides to sell or doesn't renew your lease, you may have to move unexpectedly. When should you buy? Financial stability. If you have enough saved for a down payment, can handle the costs of homeownership, and plan to stay in the area for a long time, generally 5 or more years, buying can make sense. Market conditions. If the market is favorable, with low interest rates and reasonable home prices, buying is often a good investment. Long-term investment. If you're looking at this as a way to build long-term wealth and are financially secure, homeownership can be a good route. When should you rent? Flexibility. If you're not sure where you want to settle or need to move for work or personal reasons, renting makes more sense. Short-term stay. If you're only planning on living somewhere for a few years, renting avoids the hassle of buying and selling in a short period. Financial security. If you don't have enough saved for a down payment or your credit needs work, renting could be a better choice until you're in a stronger financial position. It really comes down to your situation, what your financial picture looks like, how long you plan to stay in one place, and what your personal goals are. Do you feel like you're leaning one way or the other?